Solitaire by Alice Oseman. Part 1, Chapter 10. I spent the rest of the day thinking about what Michael Holden had said in front of C16. Later on I go back to have a look at myself, but he was right. There's nothing. I guess getting locked in an IT room kind of shook me up. I don't tell Becky about any of the Solitaire stuff. She's very busy spreading the word about her fancy birthday party, which is to be held on Friday, and I don't think she would really care much. At lunch, Lucas finds me in the common room. I'm trying to read another chapter of Pride and Prejudice, but I think I'm just going to watch the film version instead, because the book is a brain melting. The common room is pretty empty. Everybody's probably walked up to Asda because the food in our school is prison food. All right, Lucas says, seating himself at my table. I hate that. All right? I mean, is it a greeting or a question? Do you respond with, good thanks, or hello? Not too bad, I say, sitting up a little. You? I'm good, thanks. I can physically feel him searching for something to say. After a stupidly long pause, he reaches towards me and taps the book I'm holding. You hate reading, right? Why don't you just watch the film? I blink at him. I don't know. After another stupidly long pause, he asks, You going to Becky's on Friday? What a dumb question. Yeah, I say. I assume you are too? Yes, yeah. Who are you dressing up as? I don't know yet. He nods as if what I've actually said means something. Well, I'm sure you'll look good, he says, and then quickly adds, because, when we were little, you were really into dressing up and stuff. I don't remember ever dressing up as anything except a Jedi. I shrug at Lucas. I'll find something. And then he turns bright red, like he does, and sits there, watching me attempt to read for some time. So awkward. Jesus Christ. Eventually, he gets out his phone and starts texting, and when he walks off to talk to Evelyn, I get to wondering why he's always hovering around like some ghost who doesn't want to be forgotten. I don't want to talk to him, really. I mean, I thought I'd be nice and try to rekindle this friendship, but it's too hard. I don't want to talk to anyone. Of course, I tell Charlie everything when I get home. He doesn't know what to say about Solitaire's mysterious message. Instead, he tells me I should stop talking to Michael so much. I'm not sure what I think about that. At dinner, Dad asks, How'd this morning go? We didn't find anything, I say. Another lie. I must be borderline pathological. Dad starts talking about another book that he's going to lend me. He's always lending me books. Dad went to university when he was 32, did an English literature degree. He now works in IT. Nevertheless, he's always hoping that I'll turn out to be some philosophical thinker who has read a lot of Chekhov and James Joyce. Anyway, this time it's Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. I nod and smile and try to sound a little interested, but it probably isn't at all convincing. Charlie quickly changes the subject by telling us about some film he and Nick watched at the weekend, An Education, which from Charlie's description sounds like a total mockery of patronization of teenage girls worldwide. Oliver tells us about his new toy tractor and why it's so much more majestic than all his other toy tractors. To Mum and Dad's delight, we finished dinner within 1 hour, which must be a new record. Well done, Charlie! Great job, says Dad, slapping him on the back, but Charlie just winces away from him. Mum nods and smiles, which is about as expressive as she gets. It's like Charlie's won the Nobel Prize. He escapes the kitchen without a word and comes to watch The Big Bang Theory with me. It's not a very funny program, but it still seemed to watch at least one episode every single day. Who would I be? I ask at one point. If I were any of the Big Bang Theory characters. Sheldon, says Charlie without hesitation. But not as loud as about your views. I turn my head towards him. Wow, I'm offended. Charlie snorts. He's the only reason this show is any good, Victoria. I think about this and then nod. That's probably true. Charlie lies still on the sofa, and I watch him for a minute. His eyes are sort of glazed, like he's not really watching the TV, and he's fiddling with his shirt sleeves. "Who would I be?" he asks. I stroke my chin thoughtfully before declaring, "Howard, definitely, because you're always chatting up the ladies." Charlie chucks a cushion at me from the other sofa. I scream and cower in the corner before hurling a barrage of cushions back at him. Tonight I watched the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice to find it almost as dreadful as the book. The only tolerable character is Mr. Darcy. I don't see why Elizabeth finds him proud at the beginning, because he's quite clearly obvious that he's just shy. Any normal human being should be able to identify that as shyness and feel sorry for the poor guy, because he's dreadful at parties and social gatherings. It's not his fault, it's just the way he is. I blog some more and lie awake listening to the rain. And I forget what time it is, and forget to change into my pyjamas. I add Metamorphosis to the pile of unread books. I put The Breakfast Club on, but I'm not really watching it, so I skip to the best part. The part where they're all sitting in a circle and they reveal who's deep and personal things, and they cry and all of that. I watched that scene 3 times and then turn it off. I listen for the giant/demon, but it's more of a rumbling tonight, a deep growling rumble, like a drum. In a swirling wallpaper of my room, stooped yellow figures creep back and forth, until I am hypnotized in my bed. Someone has placed an enormous glass cage on top of me, and the air is slowly stirring sour. In my dreams, I'm running around in circles atop a cliff, but there's a boy in a red hat catching me every time I try to jump off.